Hello and welcome back to Digital Trends Live CES 2018 coverage here in Las Vegas. It is day 3. We have made it. We have made it 8 hours or plus of broadcasting each day. All of the news from CES is at digitaltrends.com/CES. And the time has come now for Trends with Benefits, our weekly roundtable tech podcast where we talk about the trending topics of the day. But of course, this is our CES edition. I'm Greg Nibbler, and we are broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube, in addition to this going up as a podcast later. So subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. And we have a roundtable of experts here with us today, 2 regulars that you are used to seeing if you listen to this show, and a brand new person, 2 Trends with Benefits. So why don't we go around, just introduce ourselves, say what we do here at Digital Trends, and then we'll get into talking about some topics.
I'm Julian. I'm the mobile editor, and I review phones and check wearables and anything really that can move.
And a first-time Trends with Benefits attendee.
Yes, nice.
Yes, there's rituals about, yes, a round of applause for that. On down the line, if you've been watching our live broadcast, you've probably seen him already today.
Yeah, I've been taking the spotlight too much. Ryan Juanita, Home Theater and Entertainment Associate Editor.
And on the end,
the Whiskey Mist.
The Whiskey Mist, a.k.a. Caleb Dennison.
I just try not to get in trouble out here. You know, it's difficult. There's so much cool stuff going on.
It is difficult.
A lot of stuff to run into, a lot of things to spill coffee on.
A lot of people to run into.
Yeah, so far, so good though.
Let's go ahead and take that off of there. Well, it's Trends with Benefits. Something had to go wrong right out the gate. All right, let's talk about tech, gentlemen. So we have been here for 3 days. We've seen a lot. There's a lot going on at this festival, and this is what I want to... Festival, I keep calling it a festival. At this, it's kind of like a festival
festive.
atmosphere.
Yeah.
It really is.
I'm going to have a party.
Absolutely.
Slightly fewer drugs.
I won't even get into that. I'm just trying to keep this thing rolling. So you know, we've seen a lot of different products. There's been a lot of trends that we've been noticing, a lot of things that we expected to see from this event, and what I want to know is what your favorite product or announcement maybe it was that you saw from CES this year. And so if you're commenting live, you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, let us know what that was for you. But maybe we can just go around and see if there's one thing that stood out of all of this insanity that for you maybe was maybe your favorite. Julian?
Well, I think something that I saw at the show was going to be sort of a trend that you're going to see in almost every single smartphone this year, potentially, if not next year, is an under-glass fingerprint sensor. So, you know, Face ID is something that Apple introduced, and they got rid of Touch ID, and everyone's sort of on the fence, 50-50. Do I like Face ID? Do I kind of miss Touch ID? But now, rumors were saying that Apple hasn't really had a chance to really get that technology right to put the fingerprint sensor under the glass. But Vivo, a Chinese company, they're huge in China, but not really out there in any other markets. They basically helped with Synaptics' help. They put the fingerprint sensor under the glass. So basically, you don't need another component, and you can have a truly bezel-less phone. And basically, it's the same thing as a traditional fingerprint sensor. You just put your finger on the display and unlock your phone, and that's cool because that's going to shape smartphone design for this year. And it's just going to be something everyone's going to want for their phones this year.
That's super cool. And do you know, can they also integrate the haptic feedback so that it feels like you have a button even though there's not like a physical button there?
Well, what Vivo did is that they have this little cool like crypto animation that sort of happens when you put your finger and like it's like this digital like these wires or lines kind of like fade in and the screen opens. So that was kind of cool, but I can't imagine why it wouldn't be difficult to add some kind of a haptic vibration as well.
So how long before Apple buys Vivo?
Exactly.
Well, they want that tech in their phone, you know it.
Apple's been trying to do that for years, I feel like, to actually get to that to where they don't have to have a specific button for the fingerprint sensor. And for some reason, it's eluded them this long. I mean, I think you're right. Apple, with however many billions of dollars that they have, that's totally something they would try to snap up.
Yeah,
I mean, make it, we buy it.
Right. Exactly.
But when
they could do that.
Don't they like to just kind of say, we don't need that, we'll make something even better, we'll make it behind the phone, or like...
Well, what everyone usually says with Apple is that they don't, innovate, they usually wait, and they wait for the technology to get better,
right.
And then maybe in a year or two we'll see Apple's version of it, which of course will probably have a huge focus on privacy and security, as is the case with Apple. So.
Right.
All right, Ryan, what about you? What's one thing that stood out for you?
I saw
and again,
so
drop
many...
your comments in here live on YouTube and Facebook too. Let me know, and I will get to those. I saw somebody testing if I was checking them. I am checking them. So we'll get to those here in just a second.
Yes, I saw so many cool things in the audio realm, not as much in the video stuff, because Caleb was doing all that stuff. So it's really hard to pick. I saw some amazing turntables and stuff, but I think
Vinyl.
Vinyl is just getting crazy. Like $45,000 turntables made out of this crazy wood that's stuck together, that's bulletproof, like for sympathetic resonances, but no negative resonances, all this crazy stuff. But I think one of the things that's like most going to touch people that are looking for really good cinema sound was Sennheiser's new Ambio soundbar. It's a prototype, but it's already been tuned. And we listened to it in a room where they had a 9.1 sound system set up with some of the nicest Neumann monitors you can buy. And they flipped back and forth, and the soundbar was just there, no subwoofer at the front of the room. And it wasn't as good as the system around us, but it wasn't nearly as, the difference wasn't nearly as big as you would have thought. And it's a gorgeous bar. And the other thing it does this really, really good DSP virtual surround, which is really hard to do and make it sound right. But it also does it without making it sound synthetic or tight and sharp up top. It was really soft, sort of a delicate sound as well. Well, it's really cool.
And knowing you have the most particular taste for sound of probably anybody I know.
Maybe this guy.
Maybe Caleb could rival you on that.
Ryan Juanita.
Yes, I wasn't going to say that, but yes, audiophile Ryan Juanita. We'll go that way.
We prefer to stay away from that term.
But yeah, so if you're saying it's that good, I definitely believe that.
I mean, people were lined up for this thing. It's a really impressive system, and it's also Sennheiser's first ever soundbar.
Right. I mean, Story, German audio brand. They make the microphones that capture the sound. They make the headphones that help you mix and master the sound and just listen at home. They haven't really done a speaker product like this before.
But I think buying Neumann was a huge, huge deal for them.
Neumann also a huge, super, super high-end brand,
Basically, if you've seen like somebody in the studio, you've probably seen them using a Neumann mic. Their, what is it, the U82, I think, is like one of the most ubiquitous vocal mics in the world. It's everywhere. They're a huge company. Sennheiser's a huge sound company. So the two of them together, they've really come together for something really, really cool now.
That's awesome. And we've got that review, too, at digitaltrends.com/CES, just like everything else that we're talking about. And now, down to you, Caleb. Before we start, we're going to talk about these products and then maybe talk about where we see this tech going, what we see the trends are for the future. But televisions were huge this year as far as coverage. Everybody is interested. Yeah, literally huge. Yes, physically, everything else. And I'm seeing some different questions come in here asking about that. Noah wants to know about the micro LED announcement that came out. So maybe, Caleb, you can tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, okay, so we'll actually start with the Samsung wall, a little bit out of order, just so that our good friends, the video producers, can pull that up. Samsung introduced a 146-inch TV they're calling the wall, and that's because it takes up an entire wall. It's built to be about 6.5 feet tall, so it's going to fit in most homes. That's if you can afford to put it in there. But the real story behind that TV was actually the technology behind it, micro LED. And we're not saying micro LED. I don't know why. I think it's just that's how it is. But micro LED is like OLED. It's an emissive technology. The pixels make their own light, so we don't have to have these thick layers between LED backlights and the panel. Makes its own light. It's also modular, so you can scale it up to an even bigger size if you could actually manage that. But the cool thing about it is that it's brighter than OLED, but it still does true black, and it has no off-axis issues, so you can be anywhere in the room, even though 146 inches is pretty much, you're gonna see it from anywhere. The cool thing is, you can be 15 feet away from this absolutely massive wall-consuming display. You don't see any pixels. It's 4K, it's HDR, and it was amazing. But again, it was the technology. Micro LED put in a TV for the first time. Some people say this could be a challenger to OLED. As we know, Samsung hasn't been interested in getting into the OLED TV game, so micro LED could be the next thing. But if we want to go back to fancy OLED TVs, last year we saw the wallpaper OLED. If you followed CES last year, it was amazing. Thinner than your iPhone, sticks up on the wall with magnets. Little ribbon cable goes down to an Atmos sound bar, and that's where all the guts are. Really cool. They brought back the W8 OLED with some processing improvements, and it looks even better than before. But what really stole the show is actually not something that you can see on the show floor. It's behind closed doors, private booth, and it's called the LG Roll-Up OLED. This is from LG Display, so it hasn't been made into a TV yet, but it is a TV that you can literally roll up like a newspaper. And while a lot of people like the idea of rolling up your TV and taking it on the go, that's not really where they're trying to go with this. They're trying to make a very flexible, literally and figuratively, display. So they've got mechanics in this big rectangular box. It spools the OLED around, like I said, rolls it up, and so it can pop up to a full-size display, or if you mounted it upside down, it could drop down from the ceiling. You could conceivably never see the TV until you wanted to see it. In addition to that, it can actually drop down, effectively changing the aspect ratio. So you know when you watch movies, a lot of them are filmed in a cinema-wide aspect ratio, and you have black bars on the top and the bottom. This comes down, so you don't have to have the black bars. It's just a perfect cinema-wide display. Drop it even further, and you could you could do computing on it. You could put photos on there. You could just interact with various apps, so that you could monitor your video doorbell, or you could listen to music. I mean, the possibilities are endless, but nobody's been able to make something like this before. It's really, really cool.
I'm thinking those old school shades where you pull the string and it goes flying up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. We've been talking about a roll-up television for years.
In the last couple of years.
It's always been rumored, oh, maybe it's going to show up this year. Maybe it'll be this year. Maybe they'll get it right. What's taken so long to get this technology off the ground?
Well, I mean,
I know it's hard.
Even though you can make OLED flexible, it's really hard to make it stable, and so that it's both protected and also flexible. And I mean, the last couple of years they've been teasing this. It's been white-gloved engineers gently rolling it, but don't touch it, God forbid you should touch the thing. Now they have it figured out so that it can go up and down. I mean, it's cool to think where we could take that technology and what it could mean for TV displays in the future. And not just your TV, but retail outlets could use this in a number of different ways. It just has lots of implications. I'm really excited about it, and based on the response that we're seeing from our coverage of it, you can see a video of it right now at digitaltrends.com/CES. Scroll down, foldable OLED, it's right there. Totally fun.
It is all there at the website, so go there to the website, you can check out all of that. Well, I mean, and talking about it, so how long do you think we could act before we actually see one of these to market? That I can go buy a roll-up television and throw it in my backpack and bring it around with me, and then lose it immediately.
I think that comes down to how ready they are to manufacture it at a large scale. I mean, when we first got OLED TVs, it took them a while to produce a significant amount of them. It took them a while to get from 55 to 65, from 65 to 77. Now they have an 85-inch 8K OLED TV too. So they're capable of producing. What we need to know now is how long it's going to take them to produce those at scale. I bet that they will have a limited number available next year. I think next year at CES, we're going to see that TV as something you can actually buy.
All right. Well, then I want
If I'm wrong, that's okay. I don't care. I'm just excited. I think it's going to happen.
We will circle back 1 year from now and test and pull out this footage to see if Caleb was right. So with that, these are some of the products that we saw that we enjoyed. And again, this is Trends with Benefits live here at CES 2018. And taking your questions and comments, drop those in Facebook and YouTube, and we'll get to those. One other overall trend that was definitely predominant here at CES was Alexa further getting incorporated into everything. Home assistants, whether you like them or not, whether you're getting weary of hearing about home assistants, it's not going away. The battle between Google and Amazon, I think, is going to be huge this year.
Yeah.
I mean, those two, Google already kind of threw down a little bit here at CES with their competition, their competitive products.
I think they threw down harder.
Echo?
Yeah.
Julian and I were talking about this earlier.
The other thing
who
about
do you think's going to win?
I just wrote an article actually on digitaltrends.com that basically says that I think Google sort of stole the show this year at CES, because for me last year when I came, it was everyone was saying, oh, we have an Alexa product, and everything.
Yeah.
And here this year, I think I've heard more. We support Google Assistant. Oh, right, and Alexa. It's like Alexa's there, but everyone seems more excited about Google Assistant because it's just something newer. Maybe it's the partnerships that Google have, because they've been working with a lot of these companies for so long already, with Android and all those other platforms that they have. But from a person who just attends CES this year, you just can't miss anything about Google Assistant here. They have gumball machines, they have all those huge ads everywhere, and they also deliver. They have 200 partners that are showcasing different kinds of products all over CES.
Yeah, the assistants in LG TVs, Sony TVs, and they're saying, look, we have Google Assistant. Oh, and it also does Alexa.
Well, here's the other thing, though. If you get Google Assistant from the audio side of things, Google was really smart, okay? They came out with the Chromecast, right? Yeah. And then that was like how to get things wirelessly. You can send video and audio. Then they came out with the Chromecast audio, right? And then later on, they came out with multi-room. Then they packaged it all in one amp and called it Home, and now it has Google Assistant. So now, if you have Google Assistant, not only do you have that, but if you have a speaker with that, all of a sudden, it's multi-room. Now you can connect any number of any of these Google connected speakers throughout your home. I think it's up to like 100 or something.
Yeah, it's absolutely massive.
And so like how is, I mean like, yeah, Alexa's cool, but how do you compete with that when it's like you get it all? It's all packaged.
And not just that, but your Nest thermostat, your Ecobee, your smart garage door opener, your Ring doorbell. I mean, it's all folded. You just open up the app, and if it's turned on, it's like, oh, I see you have a smart doorbell now. Let's just go ahead and fold that in. You can transfer your TV from one TV to another. You know, pause, send this to my bedroom, and then you can just walk back there and say go. I mean, they have it down. And I was talking to Julian, I think part of the reason why it's so attractive is that it doesn't require this Alexa skills type of thing. Like I said, you open the app and there it is, and it's just working.
Well, that's what it's. I think Google, you know, they're a software company. They get software far more than Amazon does, and I think one of their also main advantages is that you can have an assistant on any Android phone, right? Or at least most Android phones have the capability to access Assistant. And Alexa is now, or Amazon's sort of toying with that idea. They've been, you know, debuting Alexa on a couple of phones, but none of those implementations have been as good as Google's. And you know, with Android being the biggest market share in the world for smartphones, that is a real advantage, I think.
Yeah, if it's already in your phone, that's one step ahead right there.
Let's be clear though, Alexa's not going anywhere.
No,
it's just, I think
works pretty well too.
Amazon just has to work a little bit harder now. They've got some legit competition, and as we know, competition stokes innovation, and so I think it's just going to get better and better from here.
And do you see anybody jumping into this competition? Somebody just wrote, Chris just said Cortana's getting jealess of all of this talk.
Oh, for
I
sure.
mean, at this
Cortana's
point,
angry.
Cortana is trying to work.
She's the jealous girlfriend right now.
She is. Don't even talk about Siri. But
well, I was going to jump in and actually say, you know,
about Siri.
Well, I was going to say the HomePod is going to come in this year, and I feel like, you know, I was initially dismissing, saying, you know, oh, Google and Alexa, there's going to be on so many devices, but you just know as soon as, you know, people who have iPhones, when the HomePod comes out, they're going to get it.
Half of the world will go by that one, no matter what.
And then you're going to have Alexa owners probably, you know, maybe, because most people who buy, I feel like Google Homes are in that Google ecosystem, especially with Android phones especially, and I feel like, you know, iPhone people are going to just flock to Apple's HomePod, so.
But who doesn't, like, I mean, anyone can get a Chromecast, and that sets you in right there. For $35, you're locked into the system right there. You can buy things from there. So that's
one last
nice
thing about Google Assistant. It is coming to Android Auto in just a month or two, if it hasn't already been released.
It actually just rolled out yesterday.
Yeah, okay, there you go. And so also I know that Android Auto is going wireless, right? So right now you get in your car, you pull the phone out of your pocket or wherever you get it, you have to plug it in, now you got to find a place to put it. No longer. You just leave it in your pocket, you get in your car, you turn it on, automatically connects, and you know, it can sense when you're going to work or whatever. It's just going to pop up your route right there on your screen. You can use Google Assistant to adjust the lights in your house, the temperature in your house, double check to make sure that you close the garage door, and if you didn't close it, smart locks, maybe you forgot to lock the back door on your way out. Yeah, we were talking about this,
because that's my paranoid thing, because I always think I left my house unlocked. It's not like you can't get a smart lock right now, but if it's all incorporated into Google Home, now I'm worried I left my home unlocked, but
I mean, gotta get out of that neighborhood, man.
Well, yeah, that's part of it too. but yeah, I mean, I really, now that you're saying this, I can see how Google can actually put up some really fierce competition. But again, though, Amazon and Alexa was first. They did a really good job. I mean, they practically gave away Echo speakers in the beginning, you know, just to get people to use them. I think it's is it the Wynn that has Echo speakers in their hotel rooms?
Oh, really?
I believe that they were, or at least they were going to be rolling that out. So I don't think you can discount Alexa as still coming out on top.
Definitely not. I mean, I have Echo speakers. I'm not going to run out and replace them right away. I can still do tons of stuff with Alexa. I have a Fire TV. Those things communicate really nicely with each other. But I do think that as I get into more smart home gear and I get those connected locks and thermostats and stuff like that, because they're getting less and less expensive, and I think maybe Google is a better way to go for those things.
Yeah, we just saw Alexa put in a soundbar, and that was a really cool implementation as well. Polk has done this. I think they call it the command bar, and you can adjust the volume on the bar, you can check your security, you can adjust the thermostat if there's Nest. There's a button on the remote so you can hit it without asking for Alexa. So yeah, there's a lot of cool things happening with Amazon Alexa as well.
Well, and there was an article actually on digitaltrends.com. It was, I think it came up on Tuesday. I'm trying to find it, so I'll paraphrase, but it was basically that the estimation is that 44% of American households, I believe it was, will be purchasing a home assistant at some point in this next year. I mean, that's crazy growth. Over 2 years ago from CES, like how we've seen this whole market develop in that short amount of time, and where it's going to be, where's it going to be a year from now? What are we going to be seeing? Like, do you have any guesses on where you think this will go?
Well, I don't think it's going to need like a little hub. It's probably going to be buy a home. It comes with Google Assistant.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Smart homes.
Well, what's really, I think, important about if you really want it to be everywhere is third-party, adaptation, because rich people can't, only rich people can make their whole home, electronic so that everything is connected. So you need those third-party, like you had that air conditioning thing, like there's those third-party ones that, they have little ways to make your old gear, your old stuff in your house new, with the new functionality.
There's something to retrofit.
Yeah, you really need those third-party components to make that happen for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think that it's going to put a bunch of people out of work. Honestly, custom integrators who come in and they hook all these things up, and they make them talk to each other, and they program things, it's going to be harder and harder for them to find work, because they are in the business of selling the devices. They hook them up, right, but they can't make their bread and butter unless they're selling hardware. And right now, it's more appealing to go on Amazon, go to various online retailers, and buy the stuff yourself. I can go buy a Nest at freaking Home Depot, you know what I mean? And that stuff, I can install it myself and get it connected myself. It's not that hard. And I think, to Ryan's point, it's been for people who are wealthier, but now it's not. I think it's coming down in price to the point where anybody can have it. And I think that, getting rid of the hub, having the hub be in the cloud, so that everything just sort of runs through the cloud, that's going to be the future right there.
It's just going to keep expanding like that.
Security-wise, that is so scary.
I know.
Where we're going. I mean, it really is Big Brother in your house. I mean, it could be.
Well, especially when they had that trouble not too long ago with the locks, where it just somebody was hacking all the locks or locking people out of their houses and stuff like that. Like, that's what I worry about with this stuff.
Noah's saying, when do you see smart homes becoming affordable? I mean, if you bought a home, maybe like Julian's saying, where it just comes fully installed with Google Home, or something like that.
That's going to be a ways off. That's why it's going to be those third-party items that you can purchase for $70 here, $80 there, $100 there. Like, that's what it's going to be about.
I see what Noah's asking about, and I think that one of the best things Samsung did was they tied everything together under one SmartThings app. Used to be you had an app for your fridge, for your your oven, maybe your washer and dryer, and all these different, your lights. Everything was under a different app. Now, with the SmartThings hub, you can tie all that stuff together and control it with just one app. So you don't have to open the Ring app or the Nest app. You just open your Samsung SmartThings app and it'll control all of it. They're relying on Bixby, though, because they're not going down the Alexa or Google Assistant
yeah, we forgot
route.
to include Bixby in
Sorry,
Yeah, Bixby didn't even make it.
Bixby is still there. So definitely, I think that's probably one of the biggest trends that we're going to see this year.
Yep.
Is more incorporation of that. We did have a quick question. Julian, I don't know if you can speak on this as far as smartwatches. Okay. What the future of smartwatches, were there any big announcements? Gareth is asking.
Yeah, there were actually two. Andy Boxall, our UK writer, he saw this modular watch called Blocks, and basically the idea is that you can just replace the watch band components with different things like a battery or maybe a heart rate monitor, and that was really cool. But I mean, sort of, I would need to play around with that more. But I did get to try out two cool Android Wear watches, and I did want to go. Speak about how, like, last year, a lot of fashion brands started releasing Android Wear watches, and that's really cool because, a lot of people, they see a smartwatch and they're like, why doesn't this do the things that my phone does? And I think there just has to be a collective and conscious decision by people in that, we don't have to treat smartwatches as a gadget. It's just a watch that looks cool, and maybe it does a couple of cool things, like show your notifications, where you can, if you want to respond to something, you can do it. I don't think watches need to do everything, and I think that's what all these fashion brands are following, and that's what we saw with the Kate Spade scallop watch that actually, I think we're getting Kate Spade on the booth next or in a couple minutes. But that was a watch for women, and it doesn't, it's designed for women, by women, and it's you don't really see a lot of dedication and details poured into a smartwatch at least, for women these days. And there are female-centric smartwatches, but that's why we really liked the Kate Spade watch. And then the other Scroggin was just a really nice-looking watch that a lot of people are I've just seen someone wearing it, and everyone who sees it, they're like, it looks great on you. And that's what I think collectively people just have to think about smartwatches going forward. Yeah, there's going to be stuff like the blocks and the Apple Watch where it does so much techie stuff, but if it also just focuses on fashion and beauty and looking good while also helping you enhance your life slightly, then I think that's what
what would be killer is if these smartwatches could tell time. I think
that's the point. I mean, that's
there's the whiskey mist.
I think that's such a great point that you make, because we haven't needed watches for at least a decade, right?
Right.
I mean, or longer. I mean, you have a phone in your pocket, it tells time. Like, yeah, it's good to have it right here, but what is that, a half second? So, like, if they're not going for style, or amazing functionality, and how much functionality can you really have on a tiny, tiny little screen?
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know, man. Like, I've been, checking the time with my phone for a long time, and then I got the Fitbit Blaze, and I instantly converted to doing this again.
Yeah.
Because it's more convenient than pulling it out of my pocket. And that may seem like, whoa, why is it so hard for you to pull your phone out of your pocket?
Is that what I sound like?
No, that's me. But
it's pretty spot on.
Ryan being critical of me again.
That's pretty good.
But it really isn't convenient sometimes. Like, I'm sitting at my desk, and no, I don't want to. I like tight pants. You know what I'm saying? So, it's really hard to pull it out of the pocket sometimes. I need that smartwatch, guys.
Yeah.
It does like tight pants. That's
tight
true.
Pants. All right.
Makes CES a little hard to get around, but whatever.
It's been 3 days that we've been here at CES. This is what happens
rails.
to your mind at about this point of the show.
Stretch pants.
All right. Somebody just asked, Robert said, we'll kind of wrap up with this. Where does anyone see our tech in 2030? I mean, at this point, I think you'll either be owned by Alexa or Google Home. And they will wake you up, they will transport you in your bed in your autonomous vehicle to wherever they make you go work, and that's pretty much what we're going to be at. I don't know, it's so hard to say at this point.
I think what we're going to see is it's not going to be as different as we think it will be.
Really?
Because that's what happens all the time. We think it's all this pie in the sky stuff is going to work itself out, and what happens? Well, we can't get a battery for that, or whatever it might be. It's like, it's always incremental, and it always moves more slowly than we think it's going to. There'll be cool stuff, don't get me wrong, but I don't know about the flying cars and all this stuff. Like, I don't know about that.
I'll be really sad if we don't have a flying car by 2030.
Do you really want to get in a flying car?
Yes, I want a flying car.
Yeah, get into a flying car.
Because you're going to explode on a whole bunch of people.
I get to fly in a car.
Okay. You're going to die. You're going to die.
I'm always of the mind that when we look to the future and see where technology is going, that we can pretty much bet, especially within a 10-year time frame, give or take, that's going to be more of what we've seen in the past. And so I'm hoping, for one, that we have a better electric vehicle charging infrastructure.
Yes,
that doesn't sound super fun, but if we could take electric cars and get away from them just being commuters and turn them into road trip vehicles where you can actually go long distances in comfort and style, and with a relatively low cost and low carbon footprint, I'd love to see that, and we need that right now.
We're going to see more brands going just electric too.
Yep. Absolutely. I think that electric cars are going to be more practical in the near term than the autonomous vehicles. Building out autonomous vehicles so that they can all coordinate with each other on the road.
Right.
I mean, a lot of coordination needs to happen there among the different platforms. NVIDIA, obviously, with their Xavier chip, is pushing that forward really, really fast. Yep. So we could be wrong. Autonomous vehicles could be a very real thing, very prevalent in the next 5 years. I don't know. But yeah, I think transportation is a big tech topic, and that's why we're seeing more and more car stuff at the CES show. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger in terms of a footprint on the show floor.
Yeah, and we keep seeing these like high-end, real quickly, these high-end cars that are really high performance saying we're going to go all electric because Elon Musk made it cool to go electric.
That's true.
That's a really neat deal.
We'll see what Elon Musk does in this amount of time. Well, that's all the time we have for this. So again, this is Trends with Benefits. This is our weekly Roundtable Tech podcast here at Digital Trends. Subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher. And we do go live on Facebook and YouTube every Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific. So join us there, but we've got lots more coming for you. This is our live CES 2018 coverage. We'll be back in a bit. Of course, follow us at digitaltrends.com/CES. See you in a few.